I think Brown's ready. He's rolling the music.
Don't mention the heart.
He'll give you a nod when you do. You ready?
Good evening. We're here with 357 Productions at Annual Communication. We're a monthly podcast with the Masonian. We're coming to you live from Annual Communication. So we've got some guests kind of doing a little something, a little not the ordinary, but we're having fun with it. We are operating under the grand jurisdiction of the Grand Lodge of North Carolina and the Grand Master, Dr. Gene Cobb. So today we're going to...
With the endorsement of Dr. Cobb, so the disclaimer goes like this: we're not really official; we're sort of quasi-official.
That's right.
So that means that if we get messed up, we get fussed at. But if we do good, we don't get any credit.
That's right.
No, it's not like that at all. No, we love those guys. We're probably going to change that just a little bit. This is a grand experiment. We've never done anything quite like this before. We never planned for anything ever, even when we're at home. But we thought we'd just kind of set up here, catch guys as they're coming out of annual communication. This is the first day. This is Friday. This is the first day of annual communication. This would probably work better if we were doing it on Saturday, but when this thing's over, we all want to go home. So we're going to try and do it on Friday night. We literally came down here, grabbed a couple of guys, and then I got Kyle Sledge is out
here. If you guys can see the doors open, you see people just walking by in the hallway, and we're just grabbing them.
Yeah, so Kyle's in charge of talent procurement out there, and he didn't know he was going to do that until 3 minutes ago. So hey, we're really lucky to have a couple of guys sitting here. The first couple that we grabbed are real heroes of ours. Will Town used to be in Chapel Hill, and you were at Chapel Hill Lodge. Is that right?
What lodge?
University 408.
University 408.
Yep, and you were one of the first guys that I know of that ran the lodge system of Masonic education that was actually using it.
That's correct.
Yep, and then you moved, and then he moved off from us and he moved to Georgia. But he's still kind of a North Carolina Mason because he's not in where he's at in Georgia. You're not far, if I understand it right, from Veritas, and you go up there.
That's right.
A lot.
I don't think I've missed but one meeting in the 2 years or 3 years that it's been in session. Yeah.
Just such a smart guy. Sometimes you can just kind of, you can feel old money when you're around it without anybody having to tell you. You can feel smart when you're around it, right? It just kind of oozes out of their pores, and so that's kind of Will, and so he's always been a great hero.
I think the room's kind of full of it right now, except for you and I. I think it's oozing on both sides. We're just trying to absorb it in.
Sitting to my left right here is most worshipful brother Bryant Webster, who if there's Masonic, a hierarchy of Masonic heroes for me, he's near the top. And I don't want to embarrass you, most worshipful, but it's just the way it is. I love all our grandmasters. I'm always telling everybody you're my favorite past grandmaster. And just so anyway, thank you for we grabbed him out of the hall. Both of these guys, they didn't know they were going to come in. But let's talk just a little bit about what happened today. We opened up in pretty good form. Grandmaster Cobb said that he was going to get guys in quickly, and he did. There were bagpipes, there was marching, there were announcements, but it went pretty quick. It was pretty painless. It was a little warm in the room, as it was last year. I'm going to have to get a suit with short sleeves and short pants. What was the guy for AC/DC that used to play the guitar?
I knew you were going to say that. You had to get the little hat, too.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I'll do that. Anyway. So then we moved on to some business. So one of the first things that struck me today was Most Worshipful Brother Cash's speech. What do you think about it?
I thought it was a great way to open the lodge. This is wonderful. He spoke from the heart, and I think that everyone enjoyed setting the tone, and that's the idea. Really, is to set the tone so everybody's on the same page and can move on from there.
It's one thing to be able to have a message, but it's another thing to be able to deliver it. So he does this for a living. He's a pastor for a living, so you would expect him to be good. But there's sermons and there's sermons, and he is always exceptional, don't you think?
He's a rock star. Absolute rock star when it comes to being a deliverer of a message.
It was great. I mean, literally, I thought that I was back in college and we were getting ready to take the field for a ball game. I was sitting there, I was just getting pumped up. I was like, this guy's got it going on. I mean, he's knocking it out of the park.
I would love to go hear him preach sometime. Where's he live?
He is now retired from
the
ministry.
I guess that's gone. Maybe we could get him to come to our church.
Probably so.
Be a fill-in.
Yeah. I don't think he lives too far from us. I think he's over in the Statesville area,
He's
maybe.
moving
somewhere.
to Asheboro.
Ashboro.
Ashboro. He's moving to Ashboro.
Oh, shoot, that's right
That's
up
right
the
down the
road.
road.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
30 minutes from us. Well, maybe he'll take over a church somewhere.
That'd be nice.
I'll go see him.
And then we had a great speech
Yep. So
in the house as well.
Yep. So then, Most Worshipful Brother Webster got up to give his speech, and pretty much his speech is they do this every year for guys that haven't been. They give the immediate past Grand Master gets up and gives a report on what he did in his year. And they always kind of turn. Usually, they don't stand up there and read the boring report. Thank goodness, thank you for that, sir. But they turned into kind of a conversation about what went on in their year. Why don't you just recap it a little bit?
So the major things we talked about were the things that we as a group moved the ball on. Things like the Mason's Can project, things like talking about estate planning, building up the foundation, dealing with our finances, all the things that we as a group did and accomplished. There's about 15 things that we accomplished last year other than just meeting and opening and closing and reading minutes. We did a lot of important things as a craft, and that's what we talked about.
I hadn't told you this, but the Grand Lodge Committee Education Chair in Washington State called and sat in on one of our meetings the other day because he had heard about what we were doing and wanted to talk to me. When we got done with the meeting, I stayed and talked to him for a little while. And then the chair of the Education Committee in Illinois is in contact with me right now trying to get me to come in March to speak to some of their people, their committee, and some of their grands about the things we did in education down here. And I think Tony's going to go with me.
Nice. Very good.
So, not that we're all that great, but I mean, we moved the ball and people apparently are hearing about it. And boy, wouldn't it be good if we could get some of those practices and things to leak out and go to other states?
Yes. Yeah, I think what I see here in Masonry now is that more jurisdictions are talking to each other, and they're starting to get planning of how to coordinate the information that all of us in Masonry are eager to have. I just came back from a leadership conference in Milledgeville, Georgia, where they took senior deacons from lodges. I think there were over 110 lodges represented there that day. And we had about 15 faculty, so we could break up into small groups and have discussions on things. That was very helpful for me. And what it was a weekend conference held at the College of Georgia, which is located in Milledgeville, and it's almost right in the center of the state. We came there, we had lectures for the whole crowd, and then we break up into 15 different sections and talk about it. And I came out of it with a real enthusiasm for what is possible in a Masonic lodge.
Wow.
Sometimes I came back with the idea of visiting every lodge in my county, where there are 10 lodges in the county. And I don't know how many Masons are involved, but I know that most of them meet with 15 or 20 people there every night. And the potential of getting cooperation among those 10 lodges is so great that's what I'm enthusiastic about, is finding ways to get the lodges to visit each other, know each other as brothers, and expand Masonry through visitation. And, to me, that's a great mode to start with.
I like it.
And that brings up a good point. Grandmaster, you had a lot of things that you rolled out in your time, and they were very successful. And I know today it's got to make you super proud to see a lot of this is continue to be rolling over.
Absolutely.
And the one thing is, in the continuing of what he's talking about, is, it's like you were crossing boundaries. You were going into other states, you were talking to other jurisdictions. I mean, how do you see that? How does that feel to you now to see that it keeps continuing to catch on? It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Idea exchange is great. The beauty of what we've done in North Carolina to keep that going is that all of our line officers talk to each other and plan their programs such that you set something up for the guy behind you, he finishes up something you started, so that we don't do something for a year and then quit doing it. It's much more efficient this way. We used to tack across the ocean, and now we kind of go more in a straight line as a group, and it's showing benefits. I mean, I am very enthusiastic about where we are in North Carolina and the jurisdictions around us. I mean, we had probably 7, 8 jurisdictions represented today, sitting there listening to what we do, seeing how we do business. The example of how the Grand Master got the guest in today, he brought that back from Ontario, and how the Grand Lodge of Ontario does it. So that's
Thank you,
powerful.
Ontario. All right. Well, that's really great. We appreciate you guys stepping in for a little while. If either one of you want to stay, that's fine. We're going to bring at least one more guy in.
Thanks for doing
anybody's
this.
Next? Oh, bring them on. Bring them on.
4
one or
people.
two at a
Here we
time.
go.
Guys, thank you so much for sitting in.
Thank you so much.
We
Thank
appreciate you. Grandmaster Westford, we'd like to have you come back to Troy sometime and do another whole podcast with us sometime.
Let me know. I'd love to.
Okay,
We'll
we're
work
good.
for food.
Absolutely. Thank you, Grandmaster. We will feed you, I promise. Thank you very much. Chris, how you doing? I'm good. Have a seat, buddy. Take a chair. Who else got, Kyle? Send me one more. Okay, so the guy that just came in and sat down between us here is worshipful brother Chris Wilhoit. What's the name of the lodge you're from?
Catawba 248.
Catawba 248. This is your second year being master?
Yeah, it is the second
So
year.
y'all always do that? Does everybody take 2 years up there? It happens. It happens. We think Brown may have to do that next year, too. We're going to see.
He'll be all right.
There's Pugsley from, what's the name of that?
Lebanon Lodge
Man,
391.
I should know that because not only did I go down there the other night and give a presentation for them, but when I got there in the middle of a thunderstorm, they had a marquee, like with the letters that you can change, that said, Worshipful Brother Ben Wallace in great big letters on the doggone thing. It was.
How did we not see a picture of this on Facebook?
My head
How
got
did
so
we not
big,
get
I didn't even
text?
think I was going. I was so honored. I thought.
He didn't make you guys
Oh,
go
they
and take a
love
picture
me.
of him in front of the marquee.
I did a selfie. I did
He
a
ran
selfie.
right after we're done. So.
Oh man, so you guys are from two different parts of the state. You're kind of, I live in the center of the state, me and Riley do. You're an hour and a half east, you're probably 2 hours west of us.
An hour.
No, you can't get from your house to my house in an hour.
Oh, yeah, from you, okay. I thought
Yeah,
from
about 2
Winston.
hours. About
Yeah.
2 hours from me. Yeah, an hour from here.
Right.
So anyway, what'd you think about the annual communication day? You sat right in front of me. I saw you sleeping up there. I kicked
I
your
was
chair
not
2 or 3
sleeping.
times.
No, I was awake the whole time.
No, he didn't sleep.
Get a little worn out, but yeah, I really enjoy it. I've always enjoyed it ever since I got raised. I've attended every communication, so to me, I come every year.
Yeah, I thought it was a good program day. It drags at times. So I mean, it just does when you're in a room for that long with no breaks. But it went along pretty good. Seats got hard after a while, but we did some good stuff. It's always interesting to hear them talk about the people that got in trouble, right?
Yeah.
So they got dudes that they've kicked out. They got guys they're gonna kick out. They got lodges that got in trouble for different stuff. It's just fascinating.
It's like we're on court TV because you hear it and the crowd's
Ooh, especially some of them, especially the really bad ones. So, there'll probably be non-Masons watching this, and we would like for everybody to think that all Masons are stand-up citizens, right? But the truth is, we're a slice of the human population, and a lot of this is the fact that good humans will do bad things, but a lot of this is sometimes we get the wrong guys in the front door, right?
Absolutely.
How can we fix that?
Monitoring that west gate. You got to have a good committee on that investigation, and by investigating and researching and not just trying to rush into getting them initiated. So I think that if you pick the right people on the investigating committee and they do their due diligence and give the report, that we could eliminate some, or maybe not eliminate, but absolutely start getting the right people in.
Your lodge seems to be, from what I saw, maybe a stronger lodge, where somebody like Chris's lodge or our lodge, just being in small communities, are struggling. The reason Chris didn't want to do 2 years in the East, didn't have nobody else do it, right?
That's right.
And that's the same reason Brown's going to have to do it. I mean, Blackmore's a great lodge, but we ain't got but so many people. And, we're retreading a lot of past masters back into chairs and stuff. And those lodges are the ones that are more apt. I know. Well, I mean, we've all been there. You get a guy, and you're like, oh, thank goodness we've got a petitioner. We got another guy that we can, get in here and be a member and maybe even, be an officer or something.
Yeah.
We can't wait to get him through. And then they're like, some dude tells you, this guy maybe isn't such a, good guy. He did this thing. He got caught, speeding really bad one time. Well, it's just a speeding ticket. And maybe he was like, selling a little weed on the side. Well, that's just a little weed, So Not really like that, but you know what I'm saying. You tend to, in your mind, you just want somebody, and you want to, you start to rationalize those things out. Maybe this thing isn't that big a deal. But in the end result, you're just hurting your doggone self, right? If you get the wrong guys in.
Absolutely.
So you're better off just to double down and everybody, do double duty and muddle through, and you'll get the right guys when the time is right. Maybe. I'm glad to see the Grand Lodge doing some stuff about this got the investigation guidelines and investigation checklist and these mandatory background checks.
Absolutely.
I thought everybody's going to get jacked up today when they started talking about mandatory background checks for guys coming back after 2 years, but nobody seemed to mind that. I didn't hear much grumbling about that.
I didn't either. I think it could have got a little bit more confused, or could have got confusing, but I believe that the right decision was made, and you don't know if somebody's been away for 2 years what they've done. So definitely need that due diligence to check it out.
They probably weren't sitting around just, in church. A lot of times, not always, sometimes guys drift away and, it was a work thing or the
Family.
Yeah, or moved or whatever. But sometimes there's a reason they were away for 2 years or more.
Right.
And are just now coming back to prison. It was really the work release prison, so it wasn't a real prison. Sure, we'll take him back. We desperately need a junior deacon. Yep, so we didn't get around to voting on a lot of the amendments today, so, we don't know how they went. I guess we'll report on those the next time we have a podcast. One of them is the entered apprentice thing that's going to be a big one, and the per capita is going to be a big one. They worked through some of the stuff that was like non-controversial today to kind of get that out of the way so we could have the big stuff tomorrow. And, of course, the big thing is going to be whoever's going to be the new Grand Line pick. We're always excited to have that. You want to talk about who you got? Who's your pick?
I'll go with Ben Wallace for 500.
No. Well, I assure you that is not the case. I assure you that is not the case. I'm hoping for Gary Handy, but I don't know. He keeps saying no, but we'll see how that works out. So anyway, so you're in. You got a crew with you?
We have got my junior and senior warden with me, and we're having a good time. Junior warden's first time, and so we're showing him around and everything, getting him introduced to what goes on here and stuff, so he can carry on.
Hey, you guys won the ritual competition too, didn't you?
Absolutely, we
Show me
did.
the plaque.
Well, this is the Lion and Pillar Award.
Oh, you got that too.
Yeah, we got the Lion and Pillar. We went to work, and Lodge supported us, and we got the Lion and Pillar this year. And we also competed in the ritual competition, and were able to win that. So
Good.
it's great work.
So the guy who got
proud
the
of
award on stage, he was the guy with the mohawk?
That was for the open competition.
I call it a Mo
And-
Mullet. It looks like a Mo Mullet.
He does? A little water?
That was for the open competition. That was the Bio Olympias Wretches, and they unseated the Down East Rascals. That's won the last 2 years. So Bio Olympias Wretches beat them this year. So that was
Nice. Classic.
great competition. I hope to see more teams out there, more lodges compete. It'd be really. It helps you get your practice in, and if you're competing, and I think that we definitely need more teams to be in those.
Yeah, they're gonna have to recruit them. They're just gonna have to go to lodges and say, "Hey, dude, will you put a team in?" Maybe you need to go recruit them.
Do it.
Yeah, go recruit them up, somebody. Chris, you got a crew by yourself?
I've got a couple guys. Plus, we have a district deputy Grand Master in our lodge, and then Max Sigmund's here. So we actually have a pretty decent crew here.
Good.
So
Real good. What are you doing tonight? What y'all doing tonight? Y'all gonna hang with us?
We're hanging. We're going to be.
that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Here, right?
It's like I'm here to party.
As T-shirt says.
Let's go.
Lay back when I'm here to
Business in the
party.
front, party in the back.
All right, guys. Hey, we'll catch up with y'all tonight. Thank you for sitting in.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Pleasure, bro.
Kyle's gonna
Good
run
to
us
see
a
you,
couple
brother.
more guys in here. We're gonna get a couple more reactions. Appreciate it. I'll hit you up tonight.
Okay.
Me too.
Yep, you too. We'll all meet in Curry's room after a while.
Yeah, there you go.
Who we got next, Kyle?
All right, we got two brothers here.
Come on in, fellas.
Hi, who are you?
So this one's a Wallace.
Somewhere we're
Yeah.
related.
Have a seat, fellas. So Greg Wallace, sitting down between me and Riley, is the new master of the Lodge of Nine Sisters.
The Lodge of the Nine Sisters under dispensation.
Yes, And
Cool
y'all
name.
barely missed getting voted on here. Y'all needed a third degree
We
candidate
needed
and
a
couldn't
third
get it.
degree, and we had one lined up for 25 days before the lodge so we could get our 20-day dark period in, and he had a work conflict and had to postpone it.
Oh
So,
man.
yeah.
Well, you know, we were under dispensation for probably I don't know a year and a half at Sophia. So yeah, you're
It's
working.
okay.
You're doing the work.
It's
It's
fine.
okay.
We're doing the work, and we're learning as we go. We just changed our stateds. We were on the first Wednesday of each month, and we discovered that we were conflicting with York Rite, various bodies, and some others. And so we just recently amended our newly adopted bylaws to move our stateds to the fourth Thursday of each month,
Good.
except for November and December, and we're the third Thursday in November.
So y'all meet monthly.
We do meet monthly.
Yeah, we meet every other month. So.
Yeah.
And so does Veritas. They meet every other month. Well, I'm glad. I'd be interested to
I
see
was
how that works
talking
out.
to someone today who said it would be really nice if these interesting lodges would meet on a Friday night or a Saturday
Yes.
so we could go there
Yes.
and not have to worry about being at work the next day.
Yes, yes. Don't get me started. So,
I know.
so when so that was
You got
one of
you
the
started.
things that I
maybe-
really wanted us to do, and it
Maybe
didn't
we
work
could
out.
do that sometime.
So we budget for 3 national level speakers a year, and we always do them on either Friday or Saturday. So we have that,
Yeah.
and that does work out great because when we get done at lodge, we meet in the afternoon, and we go to Harmony, and then it's late when you get home, but it doesn't really matter because the next day's Saturday. So
Yeah.
Albert,
Hello, good to see you.
Yeah, don't forget Albert. He's down
Albert
there
Hoppy,
too.
what lodge are you from?
Hello. William G. Hill, number 218 in State College Lodge, 770.
So William G. Hill's in Raleigh also, Raleigh
It
area.
is, in the Raleigh Masonic Temple still.
Oh, same place y'all.
Nope.
meet.
Nope.
We meet at J.J. Crowder, which is on Falls of Noose Road and Durant Road between Raleigh and Wake Forest.
Is that where you got your?
Just
How they
No,
received
we
their
were-
dispensation.
We got
at
our
the
dispensation at the temple, and then
Yes.
immediately got dispensation to meet at Crowder,
I see.
and decided it was a better place for most of the members to meet. It's just north of Interstate 540 off of Falls of News, so it's much more convenient for people out of town to get to than down in the middle of Raleigh.
Is that on the south side of town?
North side, Wake Forest. Yeah, I know.
It's bad for us.
I
but
live
that's
on the
okay.
south side of town too, so it's a long, and I don't get to use the interstate to go. So it's further for me, but it's a really nice lodge.
I don't think I've ever been there. I look forward to going there.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you? So what are you
You're
doing? Have you
coming-
made it to the east yet?
I'm in the West.
In the
I'm a
west.
Senior warden this year. My father is sitting across from me in the East.
No kidding.
How
How
cool.
cool is that?
Pretty cool.
So what
Yeah.
happened was he, after he raised me,
Yeah.
he told me, you should really get in line. You should consider getting in line. And I said, wow, that's interesting. I'm pretty busy. I'll think about it. I thought about it. And I said, I'll tell you what. You get in line ahead of me. I'll get in line. It took me a couple months to wear him down.
Yeah.
Yep, he figured out I was finally serious. He got in line ahead of me. And that was however many years ago it was. We were both stewards together.
How cool.
Isn't that great?
That is
That's
very.
wonderful.
That is a great story.
It is.
Has he enjoyed it?
Well, yeah,
At
absolutely.
times. Well,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you love it. Sometimes you hate it. Right.
I mean, there are certain stressors with running managing lodge and trying to make sure the brotherly love and cements bonding everybody in your lodge and your building together. But
Keeping your key in the line.
So you were Wilkerson College class of what?
well, I would have been the senior deacon when I was there, so that would have been 2 years ago.
Was he in either one of y'all's classes? He must have been since y'all. So at his graduation, he brought mead. He made mead in
remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, and they
That's
had
not
it there
the
at
mead
graduation.
store from Pittsburgh, is it?
Oh, that's Ken and Becky Starr of Starlight Mead.
Yeah.
I make my own.
Do you?
I started brewing beer, and it turns out beer's messy and a lot of work. honey is sticky, but mead is actually easier to make.
It was good. It was kind of not cinnamony, almost like I don't know the word.
There was one
Clovey?
that I put ginger into, ginger root, which technically makes it a methylene. You add an ingredient to mead and it's no longer mead. You add apples and it's a sizer. You add berries and it's a piment. And you add spices and it's a methylene, which I'm probably mispronouncing. So you can go to Wikipedia and check that and find out that.
Yeah, that's all good. It was a great night because we left there and then we went to Lone Rider Brewery maybe. And was there was a guy there that was like an Odinist. Was his name like Paul Pooley maybe?
That's correct.
I picked him up on Facebook.
I remember you talking about him. We had a conversation.
And his
about him.
wife too.
I remember you talking about that.
Who is also a tall.
Yeah. How interesting.
person.
So, Greg, what do you think about the TO model having 3 lodges in North Carolina now? Is this a movement?
I think the 3 TO lodges are spread out enough geographically that they don't bump into each other. And I feel like from what I know that we are doing the observant practices in our own manners. We're not carbon copies of each other. And I had someone come to our last stated who'd been to several of Sophia's, and he said he was happy to see that we were not trying to copy Sophia's practices verbatim, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think each of the lodges will find its own mean and manner of doing things. But I really do believe that the observant practices are the things that young Masons long for and old Masons feel like they missed out on from the regular lodges.
That's so interesting.
That's a great
It's
analogy.
such an interesting way to put that. Say it again.
I don't know if I can. Young Masons long for and old Masons feel like they've missed out on from the regular lodges.
Man, how cool is that? Yeah, that's exactly it in a nutshell. Okay, you're hired. We're going to put you on the speaking tour.
So what we want to do, and I know that you and our friends in Asheville are trying to do the same kind of thing in their own way, we want to make each experience in lodge something special. We don't want to get bogged down in business. We want to, and it's so wonderful that we don't have a building that we have to worry about taking care of. We pay one check for rent, and the rest of what we do is our own operation, So we can focus on the internal and not the external, and really try to get into what's important about Masonry that makes it special. Because Masonry is a special way of looking at ourselves and the world. There was so much good today in what we heard in Grand Lodge about, in the talks that we heard this morning, about taking the Masonry within us and moving out into the world in brotherly love and, and the expression of that, practicing our Masonry.
Yes.
And so, but we've got to be able to feel confident in having it before we can move out. And how do you do that if you go to lodge, read the minutes, pay the bills, and somebody snaps off 5 minutes of education, and then, man, we're done in an hour, hot dog.
Right.
That's just not the way it ought to be. It needs to be special, and we need to feel like when we go into the lodge, we're going within ourselves.
Yes.
And we can get inside ourselves and express it. I just love your presentations on allegory and symbolism, and I can't wait till you come in January to Nine Sisters.
Do you guys have a marquee out front by chance?
Yeah, you gotta have a marquee for me. That's
The last place he went had a huge marquee and had his name out there and said, "Welcome, Worshipful Master Ben Wallace."
No, but I will take a moment of privilege to say that the middle chamber program that the Grand Lodge has allowed us to do.
I want that.
Yeah, we'll be starting that again in January. January, I think 17th. We'll be publicizing it. We'll be starting up again. If you're into the spiritual, philosophical, allegory and symbolism kind of world at all, this program is for you. Please go to it.
Absolutely.
What was your favorite part of today?
It was a long day.
It was a long
There
day.
was
The
a lot,
end.
there was a lot of parts.
was
So
overload.
our grand orator is a pretty talented speaker.
Yeah.
So getting to listen to him was something. But I think I mostly enjoyed all those messages about getting our masonry out of the lodge
Yeah.
and getting the out in the community and being better partnered with our bodies for Rainbow Girls and D-Malay
Yeah.
and Eastern Star.
Yeah, I think I just think it's I can see a sea change in the last 10 years in that room in there. It used to be much more contentious. Of course, we may be contentious tomorrow when we talk about per capita increase. We'll see.
And
but
opening on the first degree.
but man, they used to it used to be. This is the truth. It used to be that they would vote on some code amendments like the ones that we voted on today that were simply cleaning up language and closing loopholes. And there would always be some guys that voted against that. Not because they cared about that. I mean, sometimes it was literally like punctuation and stuff. But somebody would always vote against it. And, Grandmaster, come in the house. And they don't do that anymore.
Hello, Grandmaster.
Grandmaster.
Let's give him the seat at the end of the table.
You're doing 357 at Grand Lodge.
We are, yes, sir. Here,
I'm
come
not gonna be but a minute.
right on.
because
Come right on in here. Share a mic with Greg.
Sorry. Let me get.
Here, let me take this.
Yeah. All right. Everybody well?
We are, yes, sir. We were
Yes,
talking
sir.
about how everything went today, and everybody seemed happy. I was telling them when you came in that it used to be that when we voted on some mundane housekeeping, loop closing things, like we voted on today, that just obviously are stuff that you've got to do. There would always be some guys 10 years ago that would vote against it, just because they were contentious, and I don't know why, but that has changed. I was standing with Rick Carter about 3 years ago, and we were voted to recognize all the Prince Hall people that had recognition with the people that we recognize. And we approved it just like that. And Rick Carter said, "My God, how times have changed, how this room has changed." And it's true, not just about that, but about everything. I don't know how we did that. How did we do that? How did we get that room to that place?
Well, I think everybody realizes that excellence is where we're going. We're on our way there, and because we've made that decision, and because the leadership of the Grand Lodge some time ago made that a conscious decision and have stuck with it, I think you're going to see even greater things in the future. We're just on the cusp of even greater things, I think, and today was an indication, I believe, of it.
And Grandmaster, I know you're humble. You're very humble. But I think that room has changed because of the direction of our administration. They seem
Absolutely.
to have changed their own atmosphere in themselves as far as we've had great grandmasters throughout the years, but it just seems like there's been a different mood swing in that 10 years. It's been changing just gradually. Each year's been a little different.
I'm going to tell you what I think changed it. I know I beat this drum all the time. When we finally voted to recognize Prince Hall, and they voted, and we had mutual recognition, it seemed like prior to that, there was just everybody was wailing and gnashing of teeth, and they couldn't wait to get in an argument with their brothers. But there was just that tension, and it's like all the air just came out of that tension balloon when that happened, and it affected other things other than just the Prince Hall stuff. Am I on the right track?
I think the Prince Hall vote was important, and I think it was institutionally changing for us. But I also, and I can't help this because it's just call it an occupational hazard. I believe there's a Holy Spirit moving among us.
Yes.
And I believe that the men of our fraternity are listening to it more now, because it's not about necessarily the way we were raised or what we were taught that can never change. We've realized that if we want to be excellent, we've got to let the great architect of the universe change us.
Amen.
And that's what's happening. I mean, when you heard Grandmaster Cash's oration today, the last thing I would want to do, and hopefully what I said in my interim report, the last thing I would ever want to do would be to go up to that altar and say anything that would be contradictory to remembering who we are as a Mason. And, and I think, to be perfectly honest, I think what you're doing here right now with this kind of communication, letting the light shine and bringing others in to help let the light shine brighter, I think that, plus I think all the things we've done in education. I just got through passing out the first completed Davy Academy certificates, the first Lodges of Excellence, Line and Pillar Lodge of Excellence, all the honorable mentions. It was absolutely incredible. And not only that, just a couple of weeks ago, not even that, I put out an appeal to the Grand Lodge to bring money for the hurricane relief. And right now we've got $20,000 and we're still collecting. So our hearts are in the right place. All we got to do is just keep them going there. And you keep doing what you're doing in your life. I mean, forming new lodges. I mean, we're doing all kinds of great things. Chartered one today. I mean, these are the kinds of things that we have got to do to continue to grow and to let the world know what is really the best thing about Freemasonry. And if we sit back and don't let that light shine, then we're killing ourselves. And I hope we'll continue to let that light shine. I appreciate you letting me cut in. These guys are the reason you wanted to be here today, not me. But I do appreciate. Is this episode 31?
No, I think we're on about 27, Brown. About 27.
Okay, I don't
2.5 years.
Okay, I don't know what I was, but anyway, am I the one right before this?
Yes, sir.
Well, they've had enough of me. I think that. I think y'all doing great work, and I want to encourage everybody, all of you and everybody that listens to this podcast, to continue to pursue excellence, because if we do that, we cannot err.
That's right.
So thank you all for all you're doing, and I didn't mean to interrupt y'all.
Thank you, Grandmaster. No, it's a drop-in kind of thing. Hey, did you bring our Line and Pillar Award down here to us? I know Brown didn't go get it.
No wonder. No, wait a minute. I was sitting there. I was calling out Blackman 127. I said, and I did this in front of everybody. So I said, wait, didn't I? I said, this is the lodge I was initiated, passed, and raised in. Where are you? Ben Wallace, where are you? I did. But yes, we got it. And but I did. Yeah. But anyway, I appreciate it. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Grandmaster.
Thank you, Grandmaster.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Your stuff's right there. Don't forget that.
Sean, you do what you do. I see you, buddy.
All right, send that lady on in here.
Miss Lady.
Miss Lady.
Miss Lady, come on in.
Do you want us to leave?
No, y'all can stay. You'll just, if you don't mind sharing a mic with this lady that's coming in. Come right on in there, ma'am. Hey, pull up a chair right here and there we go. Okay, now I know that I gave you some money when I came out of thank you. I gave you some money when I came out of the Grand Lodge building in there. You were taking money for something, but I got to tell you, I don't know what it was. What were you taking money for? You're the Rainbow Lady.
I'm the Rainbow Lady.
Yeah, right up on that mic.
I was taking donations for the Grand Assembly of North Carolina International Order of Rainbow for Girls.
Good. Tell us who you are.
I am Kay Letterman. I'm Supreme Inspector in North Carolina for the past 21 and a half years. I am on the Supreme line. I'm Supreme Hope. And if all goes well in 2022 to 2024, I'll be Supreme Worthy Advisor. And that would be the top office in the entire world for Rainbow.
Wow. So can we call you Kay, or is that okay?
Right, until 20.
So I know nothing about Rainbow Girls. Nothing. So I assume
it's kind of a catchy.
I do like the word Supreme. Can we start calling me Supreme Ben? Can we? So Miss Kay. So obviously you're like
the girls call me is Miss Kay.
Okay, well, good. We'll go with that. Okay. So, Miss Kay, you're like obviously like the equivalent of the Grand Master of the Rainbow Girls.
That's correct.
Yeah, and then you have like there's a national Rainbow Girl and a world Rainbow Girl.
International. We're all over the world.
Is it the same set of Rainbow Girls? It's not like different jurisdictions.
No, they're in every state.
And
then we have different foreign countries we're in, like Australia, Aruba. Of course, Canada. It's not a foreign country anymore, but we're in Canada. And let's see, I'm trying to think. We have had assemblies in Germany and Japan. We're in New Queensland.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we have rainbow all over the world.
so when the Masons, we have Masons all over the world too, but they're in different jurisdictions, and some of them recognize some, and some don't recognize others, and they're kind of different. They're the same, but they're different. Y'all apparently all the same group. Wouldn't that be great, guys?
We're all the
If they
same
were all the
group.
same.
That's correct.
So when you become over the world,
Mm-hmm.
how will that work in
Supreme K.
Well, Supreme K, absolutely. How would that? what would be your responsibilities? I imagine there's a lot of travel in that.
There's a lot of travel, and you have problems in different jurisdictions that you will be presented with. As in every organization, there's always conflicts among adults, and this and that and the other. You have to work those things out. But it's mainly trying to keep peace and harmony, and to have everybody work together for the good of the order and for the good of our girls. Now, what Rainbow is about is for young ladies between 11 and 20, and they do not have to be Masonically affiliated any longer. When I was a Rainbow girl, you had to be associated with a Mason somehow. But now you don't. You can just be
You mean
recommended
related to a Mason? or
as an
something like
uncle, your father, or grandfather, related like that to join Rainbow. When I was in Rainbow, but that was changed many years ago. So now you can just join Rainbow and we call it as a friend of a Rainbow girl. And what we do is we teach the girls leadership skills, speaking skills. I'm a real fanatic on teaching them how to be ladylike, etiquette, but we certainly emphasize them to be strong women, to prepare them for the future. And we also teach them that they can stand on their own. They don't have to be in abusive relationships, which is very strong right now. And that they don't have to put up with somebody abusing them physically, mentally, anyway.
Good.
And we have
It's a message of empowerment, right?
It is.
Yep.
It is. And we have 3 scholarships that we give away every year. And then we have a 4th scholarship that was established after my mother passed away. My mother was in this capacity that I'm in. And when she retired, I was appointed to take her place. So we have 3 scholarships for young ladies starting their freshman year. And then the scholarship that was named after my mother, the Catherine Ferguson Scholarship, that is for postgraduate girls. And so if they want to go to graduate school, because those are hard to find.
Yeah, sure.
And so far, we have been able to give 2 postgraduate scholarships, and of course we give 3 scholarships every year to any Rainbow girl that qualifies for that.
Awesome. Is the Willard girl, was it Emily?
Emily Willard.
Yeah, we interviewed her last year here. She was a great interview. I don't know if you saw
She just
that.
stepped down as my past grant-worthy advisor in June, and she is now in Northern Ireland as we speak.
Oh, bless her heart. That's
She's
good.
over there studying.
Oh, good.
And but she is
Very
a
good.
phenomenal girl. The whole
Yeah, I love
family
her.
is phenomenal.
Yeah, they are. So, are the Rainbow Girls generally growing in North Carolina?
Yes, we are. The Grand Master asked me today, and I couldn't think what he was really saying to me, but in the last 2 years, we have opened up 4 new assemblies in North Carolina. So we now have 16 assemblies in North Carolina. And since I've been here today, I've gotten 2 really strong leads to reopen 2 other assemblies.
Wow, where?
Plus I've already was working on Salisbury Assembly, so now I've got 2 more leads. Hopefully, this one gentleman I talked with from Concord, and another gentleman from Morehead City.
Oh, nice.
And we used to have assemblies in all of those 3 cities, so that is what I'm going to be working on when I get back home and start targeting those and try to get those open.
Well, I hope you get them, and I hope when you get this supreme world dictatorship,
Remember us.
Take us. You know what
Remember
you need.
your friends.
Here's what you need, Miss Kay. You need bodyguards. and backup dancers. So Riley and I can be both.
Right.
We'll pose as backup dancers, but we'll really be bodyguards.
Secret
And we'll just
bodyguards.
follow all over
That's
the world
good.
with Miss Kay. How
Well,
about that?
if all goes well, I'm hoping to host the Supreme Session in 2024 in Charlotte. That's what I'm working for right now. And of course, today it was mentioned in the Grand Lodge about our shoe drive to gather shoes to send to the third world countries. And of course, with all these hurricanes now, everybody needs shoes more than ever. And we're collecting men's, women's, children's, boots, tennis shoes, bedroom shoes, just shoes, period, for everyone.
Okay, so if we have shoes or money to give to the Rainbow Girls, how do we do that?
You can contact me. My email address is KAYR as in Robert, B as in boy, girls, GIRLS, at AOL.com.
Outstanding. So if anybody wants to help them out, that'd be great. If you want to help, start a Rainbow Girl Assembly,
They can
I'm sure that
contact
you or your
me.
wife, I'm sure that they can get that done through you.
Absolutely, because I have to sign for them to, I have to sign Supreme papers to give them permission to open up in North Carolina.
Outstanding. Well, we wish you nothing but the best of luck. We appreciate you stepping in for a
But
few
thank
minutes.
you. I've enjoyed talking with you, gentlemen.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Yes,
you
ma'am.
having me step in today.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
You're
you.
so welcome. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you, sir. You too. Thank you very much.
All righty. Yeah, there you go. And wave to the camera.
Thank you.
That is a cool title, Supreme Hope.
Supreme.
I think that's
Supreme
even better
Hope.
than the advisor one that comes after. Now I need to go learn a lot more about this. I've been interested in them, but that's,
I guess they have a hope, faith, and charity, maybe?
I'm
Probably.
I would
I
assume.
might guess.
Yeah,
I might
I think
guess.
they have 5
Just couldn't imagine
colors
being
and
over the
5
world.
different rainbow characteristics. Or
I couldn't
something.
imagine what voting for amendments would look like if it was actually over the whole world.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure
So-
out how she tries to keep you in control from here in North Carolina.
If you guys are going to be her backup dancers and bodyguards, how many languages do you know?
Hey,
If you're going-
dance is a universal language. We can dance in any language, can't we, Riley?
That's right.
We'll do anything to travel the world.
Hands in any language. We sure will.
What a mess. Now what we got? Outstanding. All right,
All
guys.
right, well, thanks
Hey,
for
guys,
having us
thank
in.
y'all so much. I know we didn't let you talk a lot, Albert, but we appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Look
Okay.
forward to having you.
All right. Yep. Be glad to.
Cuz, good to see you.
Yes, sir. Greg,
I'm sorry,
I'll talk to you
Albert.
soon. I'll get you.
That's what happens when
It's all good.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get cousins together.
That's right. All right. Hey, we'll talk to you soon. I got a couple things I want to talk to you about. So, come on in, fellas.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine.
Andrew Gonzalez.
Yeah, Ben Wallace, have a seat.
How you doing, Edgar?
Oh, hey, how are you? Sister. Your
That's
sister.
okay, that's
Okay,
okay.
we're going to set y'all far apart so y'all don't get in some sort of, if y'all get in a fight, I'm going to referee here. No, come on.
you
have a
sit
seat
right
up here.
there.
I'm a big fan of your show. I'm actually a Mississippi Mason, but I live in Atlanta, Georgia. But I've heard of your podcast a few times.
Wow. I don't know. So we have kind of mostly a North Carolina focus, right?
Right.
But we get a lot of people from out of state that listen to it. I don't know why. But whatever. But they do. All right. So you live in Georgia.
I was actually born in Peru. I was initiated pastor right in Peru.
Uh-huh.
Then I became a past master in Mississippi. I live in Georgia now, but my sister just moved to Durham, so I came up here for the Grand Lodge. I actually designed the neckties for the Grand Master.
Oh, very nice.
I wanted to talk about my experience, that I had with the Grand Master and the brethren from North Carolina.
Man, so I got a lot of questions to ask you. So I understand that in South America, that Freemasonry is held Man, I hate to run us down because I really think we're pretty good, but they hold Freemasonry in higher esteem maybe than they do here. Maybe we take it a little for granted here. Maybe we don't have the same standards that they do in South America. Is that right?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's that much different. Obviously there's similarities, but like there are certain things that are different. Like for example, like the dues, for example, they're a lot higher. So. But that doesn't mean that it's only for the wealthy. It doesn't mean it's only for people that are only able to pay, the fees that we're talking about.
some Grand Lodges go from 500 to a couple of thousand, per year. So it's pretty substantial, but that doesn't mean it's only for the wealthy, because a lot of the Grand Lodges can subsidize some of the membership. They think the person is worthy or not. So that's one of the things. And also it's I wouldn't say it's political, but it's also how would you say it? It's also it also appeals to a lot of people from politics. It appeals from people that come from a different perspective. But you have everybody from janitors to the mayor of a town. So it's a little more marked than it is here.
So in France, the French Masons actually do participate in politics. They back a candidate. They'll endorse a candidate and stuff. Thank goodness we don't do that here. I'm not telling them what to do. They can do whatever they want, but that's not really what what we do here. But maybe they do more of that down there. I don't know. So.
Well, it's politics and religion are also always off topic in a lot of places in South America. When I say it's more political, I mean in the way that it's also ran, but it's not allowed to have any sort of endorsements or anything like that just because you're a Mason. Obviously, a person, for example, I think it was like 8 years ago, we had a past Grand Master run for president, and he did mention he was a past Grand Master, but he didn't use it as a political tool in order to benefit. I mean, he was just mentioning the list of memberships that he had, and he was one of the Freemasons, so a past Grand Master, which is
Yeah. So are you still a member of that lodge that raised you?
Oh, absolutely. I've been an active member, since I was raised actually on the night of my 18th birthday by my father, and
cool. By your father.
He was a worshipful master
Cool.
he was a worshipful master at that particular lodge, and he asked me a few days before, hey, do you want to have a big party, or do you want to become a Freemason that night? I mean, the answer was there way before he even asked it. So the night of my 18th birthday, they brought me to lodge. I was initiated, and you can become a Mason when you're 18 if your father is a Freemason. So I took it in Peru. It takes about 2 years to become a fellowcraft, and an additional 3 years to become a Master Mason. So it took me like 5 years to become a full member. So it was pretty exciting.
Do you know if your ritual was did y'all do the Scottish Rite ritual down there? I know a lot of South American lodges do.
That's a good question, man, because Peru has the Scottish Rite and the York Rite, but in terms of Blue Lodge, they also have the higher degrees, But yes, I was initiated in the York Rite Lodge, which is a lot more similar to what we do here than it is the Scottish Rite. The Scottish Rite is a completely different animal, but it's
right. Have you sat in Scottish Rite
Blue
Lodges?
Absolutely, yes. I actually just came from Costa Rica about 2 weeks ago. I went to there's different types of Scottish Rite lodges. You have the ancient Scottish Rite, and you also have like the more modernized. One of them So I went to a French-speaking Scottish Rite lodge in San Jose, in the capital, and they actually work only by candlelight. I mean, even their stated meeting, it's everything's turned off, and they only use candlelight, and the only places that have candlelights are just the three main stations. It was mind blowing, honestly, And then the next day I went to another Scottish Rite, but it was Spanish speaking Scottish Rite, so it's amazing to see the difference. It's actually the Garibaldi Lodge. I don't know if you heard of it.
Yes.
Garibaldi Lodge in New York.
Yes.
They're an amazing lodge, man. I've sat in lodge with them several times.
Really.
And I went to their first degree, initiation. I think they held it like once every 18 months or something like that. And I think the maximum attendance was like 500 members. Just to witness that degree, which is amazing. So,
do they don't speak English there, do they? Are
they
speak Italian?
Yeah, it's an Italian lodge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
do you speak Italian?
I speak a little bit.
French, obviously?
No, French not. I didn't understand a word they were saying. I didn't understand. I was just agreeing with what they were just saying. Of course, we. So I actually went to architecture school in Italy. So we have family up there.
You went to architectural school in Italy?
But I graduated from Mississippi State. Correct.
So where in Italy?
Vicenza, which is where a lot of our family still lives up there, and then I went to the Sapienza University of Rome for architecture, and then moved to.
Overachiever.
No, I don't know. You're talking about overachieving. My sister, she just finished her thesis for a doctorate.
Congratulations.
On what? Obviously, you're not a Mason.
I'm not a Mason.
Well, you could be. I mean, there are
Hey,
Masons.
we're talking to our friends, right?
Yeah, that's right.
On supply chain for biomass and in engineering.
So tell us about your thesis. To us dummies, what was it about? I mean,
Well, we investigated how to transport biomass or optimizing the way to transport biomass to a biorefinery in order to expand the industry of biofuels so we can meet the targets of the EPA.
You know what's,
she's going to make
funny?
a lot of money
She's
somewhere
gonna-
someday.
Where did you go to school?
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
You know what's funny? I've asked her the same question you did, and she explained it to me like 14 different ways. You know, and every time it's like, can you explain to me like I'm a 10-year-old? And the next time it's like, can you explain to me like I'm a 9-year-old? I think we're getting to the point where it's like, she's explaining to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Because
I'm not even sure what biomass is.
It goes both ways when I ask what do the Masons do. I only know they're good, they help each other, and they help the community. That's all I know.
This guy's
That's what I
right,
tell
you're
people
right,
when they ask
you're
me.
That's a good point. What do you guys do? We're really cool.
Yeah, they meet, and then I don't know what they talk about, but they talk.
Yeah, we don't know what we talk about.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, right.
So okay, so you went from Peru to Texas A&M, then to Italy,
Oh, no,
then
no,
finished
no,
at
she went
Texas
to
Yeah,
Texas
she
A&M.
went to Texas A&M.
No, you went to Mississippi State.
I went to
then
Mississippi
to Italy,
State.
and then came back and finished up at Mississippi State.
Correct.
And now you're working. I guess you moved to Atlanta.
I moved to
'cause you got
Atlanta
a job?
as an architect, correct. And now I own Masonic Revival. You know, it's we provide to the Masonic community, and but my background is in architecture. Yeah, I no longer practice it. You know, I stopped practicing about 2 years ago to focus on Masonic Revival. But you know, it's
On Masonic what?
Masonic Revival. Yeah, that's it's Masonic Revival. It's a design firm that I own, that we do the neckties, the aprons for about maybe 17 different Grand Lodges, including the Grand Lodge of North Carolina, which is the Lion and Pillar fundraiser that we're doing with the neckties that Brother Robert Wade is wearing. You know, so it was an amazing experience that I had with the Grand Master and with Brother Jeremy Hicklin. You know, that we've been working for about a year. You know, so I finally came to to a reality about maybe 2 weeks ago.
So let me get this right. You're an architect, but there's more money in selling Masonic paraphernalia than there is in being an architect?
Well, I wouldn't say that. The reason I do it is because it's a dream job. I mean, you think about it, you know, like I get to travel, I get to go to lodges, I get to design, I get to meet brethren, and get to, you know, just shake hands with people I never met before, and we feel like family. So why would I not change it? You know, so
that's awesome.
I changed. I started my company about 2009. You know, designing the ties for the Grand Master of Mississippi for about 4 years in a row. You know, and then I liked it, and I designed their pins. I designed different things, and so in the past 2 years it just has grown a lot. So now we cater to the Grand Lodge of New York and Grand Lodge of New Jersey. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, so it's a fun ride, so why would I not change? It's just fun. It's amazing.
It's fascinating.
So you moved to Durham recently.
Yes.
How'd you do that?
Where do you call home now?
I'm currently based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia.
He calls the road home, it sounds like. He's on the road all the time, or in a plane, or on the road somewhere.
Well, this year I've only been in Atlanta about a month and a half or 2 months, this whole year. I went to the Grand Lodge of Costa Rica, I went to the Grand Lodge of Italy, and I'm going to Mexico in about 3 weeks, so.
Here's what we need to do. We need to get you to come to a whole podcast sometime instead of this just kind of drop-in
I
thing.
would love to, yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
I mean, if you're in this way somewhere, I mean, we're 5 hours from Atlanta, so I don't want you to drive up just for that.
Yeah.
But I do have a place you could stay. We feed everybody when we do the podcast. And yeah, I'd
Bring
love
him
to
in,
just
would you
talk
tie him
about all the
into-
places you've
We
been.
could tie him into Sophia or something, make it worth his while, where he's just not just doing a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get you to come. Yeah, that's
Put it
what
to
we'll-
work, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get you to come to a program for Sophia. That's exactly
Well,
right.
when is
About
that,
all the
sorry?
places you've been.
Sophia
Sophia's
is
our go ahead.
First Observant Lodge in North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Traditional observant.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so are you?
we haven't all be members here, so.
So are you a member of a lodge in the States?
Yes, I'm a past master in Mississippi.
In Mississippi. Are you a
Correct.
member of a lodge in Georgia?
No, sir. No, just Mississippi.
You're not there
No,
enough.
not yet. No, I mean it's exactly. If you're gonna commit to a membership, you have to go. You have to go to lodge.
Right.
So I still visit. I still go to every time I'm in Atlanta, I mean, I'm blessed enough that I'm just down the street from the Atlanta Masonic Center, that has, I think, is like 5 or 6 different lodges. So I go to those lodges, and I mean, I have a great time. I go to Decatur, I go to different, as many lodges as I can, but, becoming a member is a commitment, and I just don't want to make the commitment because I know I'm not going to be able to do it. I don't want to fail a lot, but I help out as much as I can as well.
So tell us about designing ties, man.
I got a question I'm dying to ask, but I'm not going to do it. I'll save it till you come back next.
Okay.
It's going to be me stirring the pot on the states of Georgia and Mississippi.
I knew you were going to go that way.
I suspect that. Okay, so look, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I got to do it. Being a Mississippi Mason, you probably can't go to the Prince Hall annual communications and sales stuff. You can't go in their meeting.
No. There's no current recognition between the Grand Lodge of Mississippi and the Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Mississippi.
How about the Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Mississippi and Peru?
No, because Peru still doesn't have a recognition to the Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Mississippi. There's Prince Hall recognitions from Peru to several Grand Lodges in the States, and I could go as a Peruvian Mason because I still hold my membership, but I just haven't had the opportunity to go to any Prince Hall Grand Lodges yet, Not that I want to, it just hasn't presented itself to an opportunity.
Well, Lord willing, there will be a day when this won't be an issue. In
yeah.
Mississippi, in Georgia, in Tennessee, in Florida, in South Carolina, in Alabama, and the rest of them, Arkansas, can see their way fit to have recognition with their brothers. Okay, that was my political statement for the day. We'll let it go. I can't do an episode without harping on it. So
talk to us about these ties that you designed.
Oh yeah, it's been an amazing experience. Masonic Revival has catered, in terms of neckties to about maybe 16, 17 different Grand Lodges, including New York and Delaware and different states. And North Carolina was just a place that I've always wanted to see, what kind of projects we can come up with. My sister just moved here, so I had the chance to come up and visit, and I just love it. I met some wonderful brethren, and so I just always wanted to do it, So last year when I met the Grand Master and I introduced myself, and we started communicating, we started chatting, and I gave him I discussed the idea of having maybe like a necktie for a fundraiser or something, And he liked it, So there it is. It's Masonic Revival. So for the next few months, we were trying to come up with the design that he liked, And we did some draft, we did some fabric samples, we did color, everything that goes with the design. So essentially, we came up with the design he liked. We made a sample. We sent it to him. He tried it. He loved it. Then I donated about 20, 25, I can't remember the number, ties to the Grand Lodge officers for them to see if they like it, So it was an amazing experience, and Lux Libertas, like the lodges under dispensation, took on the project a couple of weeks ago, and they said, hey, we want to run with this project, and they just came at the last minute, and they were our saviors when it comes to that project. They actually made it happen. Brother Jeremy Hicklins and the Worshipful Master, Gene, they've been amazing. They've been amazing support, and they just took on the project, bought about, I believe, 500 neckties, and they're selling it for $50, and $33 of that proceeding goes to the Masonic charities in North Carolina.
So who did you do the design?
Well, I developed it with the help of the Grand Master. It was his idea. He wanted to have the line on the pillar. He wanted to have the square and compass. So he gave me the idea of what he wanted, and then we just went with it. It was one of the most pleasant, just easygoing experiences when it comes to design. He's made everything so easy.
And then you guys have other ties to choose from as well. Like, I'm sure you guys are set up in here, and you've got all kinds of stuff to choose from.
Yeah, we have. We try to come up with a new design at least once every 3 or 4 months. Now not all of those designs actually go into the market. I'm working. What we do is we come up with the design, and then we get a fabric sample, and then it goes. Just choosing the color, it takes about a year. It takes a long time to come up with a nice color, because there's like a million shades of blue, So once we get the tie that we like, then we send it to about 15, 20 people that we know in the States, and they wear it, they give us their feedback, and then we order 50 ties, and then we sell it at events like this, face to face, so we can understand so we can get some feedback from our brethren, and if they like it, then we'll mass produce them. Well, not mass produce them because we only make about 200 to 300 of neckties, and then we sell them around the states and around the world.
So if a lodge wanted to develop its own necktie, they could just come to you and
absolutely.
make that happen. More or less, what would it cost for a lodge to do that? Say a lodge wanted to buy 50 of them.
Yeah, 50 is a good number because that's a good point when you can start seeing a price reduction. But depending on the material, the size, the width, everything, anywhere from $12, $13 to about $18, $19
for good quality.
Absolutely.
Necktie?
Yeah. The neckties,
or bow ties.
They're bow ties. Yeah, they're premium quality. They have cut inner line, which is what goes inside the tie. Which a lot of times you don't even see it, but this is the way they dress, the way it works, the way you tie it. We spend a lot of time in I was just in Italy, and we work with a bunch of people that they know their stuff, So it was amazing, So good experience, but working with the Grand Lodge of North Carolina has been amazing, So.
I love your suit.
I didn't design this.
Yeah, it's got that Mario Lopez look,
So check them out, Masonic Revival. They have a Facebook page. I'm sure you have a website.
Yeah, Masonic
Probably
Revival.
have all kinds of social media.
Right. Yeah, we just hit the 25,000 follower mark, I think, on Facebook.
25,000 plus one. I just like it.
Oh, perfect. There you go. Yeah. I can't remember if it was 15 or 25. I could be wrong, but and then on Instagram as well, we have about 20,000 followers. It's
awesome.
we've been blessed with the way the brethren has embraced our designs. We design everything in house. I basically design a lot of the stuff. We have other brethren that help us with the custom pins, and things like that. It's been amazing.
Is he paying you to help him today?
No, I came to see him, and I do have to
But
say,
he put you to work.
So do you have the skull
and that's
crossbones
fine.
with you
That runs in the family.
How much
We
do they?
we work with each other. My parents
$35 here or
own
2 for
a
$60.
drugstore,
And you can
so
mix and match with bow ties.
we've been helping them all the time over there too. I do have to say something about Masonic Revival. Quality. You asked about quality.
Yes.
He might not know this, but when I tell people about my brother, I explain that he's such a perfectionist that in order to choose the lighting for one room, he goes to the store, buys 17 different bulbs, and then tries each of them out, and then picks one and returns the 16, and then he buys the whatever
That's
other
a true
bulbs.
story. I've been in my house.
It cannot be true. Look at that. That is very cool. I love that. Is that yours?
Yes,
He's got them here.
What? Get out of here.
Kerry has been amazing, man. I think he's my walking model for every design. I think he purchases every single tie that I come out with.
So he said that they're, correct me if I'm wrong, 1 for 33 of the.
They're $35 each. Well, at the website, yes, this is a different price here, $35. But if you get a combination of a bow tie or a necktie or both neckties, anything, it's 2 for $60. So basically 30 a piece. Yeah.
What else do you sell?
We do everything from like lapel pins to we've done the aprons for the Grand High Priest of Indiana. We've done the aprons.
You have somebody that makes the aprons? I mean, you design them and then somebody else
Right,
makes
yeah.
them?
I'm not a craftsman. I mean, I love designing, but I'm just not a craftsman.
So basically what he's saying is the quicker we can wrap this up, the quicker we can go in there and see where we go.
I think they're closed. I think they're closed.
Yeah, they're pretty close for
We'll have to
today,
go
but
tomorrow.
I'll be here tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I'm as an architect, I'm taught how to design, but I don't know how to construct anything. So, but that's just what I love doing it. I love designing, especially when it comes to Freemasonry. Like, what else can you ask? If you're making a living out of it, it's a dream job. So it's I've been blessed and it's been amazing. It's been a fun ride. Get to meet people, from all over the world.
Well, we appreciate you stepping in with us for a few minutes.
Oh,
Keep listening to the show.
business card?
Oh, absolutely. You know what? I left it inside, but I'll give it to you tomorrow.
We got you.
Yeah, you know how to. You already
We
found
got
it.
you, man. We got you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Hey, thank you so
Hey, thank
much
you so
for
much,
stopping by.
brother.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's, make him take care of you. Make him take you out to dinner and buy you something fabulous. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you. It's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Come on up here, Tony.
Got the birthday boy.
I should have went first.
Dude, it's all right. Kyle, come on in here. Have a seat. We're gonna wrap it up with you guys.
Sounds good.
How about that? So we pressed Kyle into work. I wasn't kidding when we started that we had absolutely no plan, but I knew we knew we had a premise. We just didn't have a plan, and our premise was that we would do just kind of what we did. We would talk to somebody for 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes, step them out, step somebody else in, and just kind of rotate people. Really, what we meant to do was talk about the annual communication today, but we didn't talk about that a whole lot. We kept getting off topic on everything else. But when we got here, I realized that we were going to be in here talking, and we needed somebody to funnel people in here. So the first person I saw that I knew was Kyle. I'm like, Kyle, what are you doing? Oh, I'm not doing anything, man. I said, good, come here, I got a job for you. So he was funneling all this talent in here to talk to us. And
Great talent,
we really
man.
appreciate
Great talent.
you.
Pleasure. I'm always happy to help where I can.
Kyle was on one of the very early episodes, maybe
I think it was
one
episode 10.
Yeah, about 10. Yeah, we were talking about Masonic funerals. It was a good episode. So everybody go check that out. It's there on the YouTube. Tony, anything you want to tell us, buddy? Here's the first thing about Tony.
Yeah.
I'm boring.
It's Tony's birthday. And so the Grandmaster gets Tony up there, and like 1,000 people
guys
sing happy birthday to Tony.
It's pretty impressive,
How cool
man.
was that?
It was neat. It was neat.
Hey, you got our Lion and Pillar Award?
No, but on the way out of the room, the Grandmaster said, go to the stage, get the award. So unofficially, officially, for the Grandmaster in his stead, we're going to present the Lion and Pillar Award to Blackmore Lodge number 127 at Mount Gilead. And
Cool.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm going to accept this on Sean's behalf. He's behind the camera and you can't see him.
I know
He's the
today-
master there.
And today when they flash it up on the screen, and I can say this because Blackmore's my home lodge. I hadn't been there in quite some time because of scheduling and different things. But I turned and looked at Brown, and I saw Blackmore up there, and I was like, wow, Brown, way to go. That's awesome, man. I mean, that's a big deal. Yeah. And I was like, but it all happened during your year, man. Your year. You got this. You did this, man. You rallied the troops. Yeah. I was like, it's a big deal, Brown. Yeah, it is. Yeah, thanks. So, congratulations again on camera. That's awesome.
For y'all that don't know Brown, that's just the way Brown goes.
But
it's good because, like, today when everything was going to hell in a handbasket on y'all with the sound and everything, if it was me, I'd have been losing my mind, screaming and cussing and kicking things and hollering at people and panicking. But Brown's just like, hey, man, we need to go to your truck and get a soundboard.
I think we handled it pretty well, man. We were pretty even keel.
Anyway.
But no, that's a huge accomplishment, Brown. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Brown.
You guys do good.
I'm proud of you. What else you got to tell us, Tony? Here you got a new job.
I was going to say, I assume you're talking about stepping into your shoes.
Yeah, so the Grand Lodge Committee on Masonic Education is getting a new chairman, and it's going to be Tony. I am rotating off of that committee, and Tony's been on for a couple of years, and they're elevating him to take the chair of it, and I could not be more happy for him or the Masons in North Carolina. They're getting a good one. I have every confidence that you're going to do great.
Well, we're going to try not to let the wheels fall off of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything's been going good.
So I'm sure he's going to have all sort of cool new stuff he's going to be rolling out, and Masonry in North Carolina is just going to keep on getting better and better. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Kyle, what's happening down in your part of the world? I see you always trying to get people to go to breakfast with you and stuff on Facebook. He's like, hit me up. I got nothing to do down here in Fayetteville. Anybody want to go to breakfast?
It's one of those things. I rarely, being in the funeral business, there's no set hours. You know, I come in off a death call. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm wide open, and I'm not ready for bed, but I am ready for dinner. So, you know, what I call dinner, some people call breakfast sometimes. Yeah. And Fayetteville, Phoenix Lodge, we're finally got things put back together after Matthew came through. Got the new HVAC systems installed, and we were very fortunate not to lose any more than what we did. We had some archives, things that were messed up, but luckily it was nothing that couldn't be replaced or that was, you know, too important. Of course, human life in the building being the most important things, but, you know, objects can be replaced. We're very fortunate to have the situation we did there.
Good.
And,
real good. Well, we're glad to hear that. Tony, Hope was going to get the grand worthy patron of the Eastern Star to come in here, and then we were going to shoot a whole podcast with her, and that went awry somehow. What happened?
So she, somebody in the hallway, I know I talk quiet. Somebody in the hallway told her that Grand Lodge would run until about 6 o'clock or so. So she's like, well, I better get going. I got to make the trip back home. So,
well, I hate we missed her. You tell her. What's her name?
Helen Lentz. We're the Grand
You
Legion.
tell Miss Helen that if she will come to Troy, we will shoot a whole podcast with her.
Well, now, I do believe that they are going to have an official visit.
In
at
Bisco.
Troy.
Is it Troy or Bisco?
I don't think Troy has them.
I think it's Bisco because I heard some ladies at my work talking about it at the college that are in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I know
They were
it's
saying
down
it was
around
going to
Troy.
be a big deal. That's what they were saying.
Well, tell Hope if she wants to work it out, then we'll sit and do a whole podcast with her. We hadn't done the Eastern. We tried to get Linda last year. It was Linda last year, right?
It was Linda Hack.
Yeah, and all year I love that lady, and we just never could get our schedules together, so we missed. But maybe we'll get Helen this year. All right, anything you want to say on wrapping up? What'd you think about it today?
I thought it was good, other than the whole birthday thing. But no, I thought it was good.
It sounds like being put on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I
agree
mean,
with that.
it's the business of the Grand Lodge, right?
Yeah.
So you can only make it so interesting.
Right.
I mean, some of it's really cool. It's, parts of it are really cool. But after a while, we don't take breaks.
Right.
So it goes on and on and on. I know about 3 o'clock there. I was starting to. I would have been. Here's the truth. This code amendment was supposed to be coming up about this entered apprentice thing, and I didn't know if they were going to get it in today or tomorrow, but I kept thinking they would get it in today, and we wanted to speak about it because that's a Blackmer-sponsored code amendment change. So Randy Browning and I are going to get up and talk, about this. So we had to be there if it came up.
Right.
But it didn't come up today. It's going to come up tomorrow. If I'd known that, I'd have probably gone and taken a nap. I was sitting there about 3 o'clock thinking, if I could just get horizontal for about 2 minutes, I will be gone.
It was warm enough.
Get a little power nap. Yeah, it was hot. It's always hot in there. I don't know why they can't.
Ben, what do you want to do for lunch? 30-minute nap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he said when we were in here. Ben, what do you want to do for lunch? 30-minute nap would be good.
Yeah, I believe it. They did a good job of pushing it along pretty quick, though, I thought.
Yeah, it went pretty good. I mean, it was as good as you could be expected. So, all right. Well, so business of the Grand Lodge conducted, done for the first day. Another whole day tomorrow.
In the books.
We'll report on that the next time we get together for a podcast, which will probably be about a month from now. The two big things, of course, they have a per capita vote coming up tomorrow. I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And then the entered apprentice thing is going to be a pretty big deal, I think. May get some fighting over
Yeah, I'm
that.
hearing a lot of chatter about that.
Good or bad?
Just people talking about they're interested, just like everybody else, see what happens.
Yeah, I think we're going to pass it. I think we obviously think it's the right thing to do. We sponsored it, but by the time everybody hears this, the vote will have been,
Sure.
and then we'll know how it went. But we'll see if we can get it passed through. I think we can. I think most guys will understand the need for it. All right. Any last thoughts on the day? Well, it's only 6 o'clock. Whatever shall we do in downtown Winston-Salem, boys?
Wrap this up and go find out.
Yeah, let's wrap this up and go find out. Guys, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Tony, congratulations. I know you're going to be great for the,
And
for
happy
the Education
birthday.
Committee. Thank you so much for helping us out this
Birthday, brother.
afternoon.
Pleasure, absolutely.
We really appreciate it.
As
Thank
always.
you.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations again, bro.
Congratulations, Brandon.
That beautiful news.
Are you going to do the lead out?
Thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Masonian. I was saying Smithsonian earlier.
Smithsonian.
It's been a
The
long day.
Smithsonian.
Yeah, it's been a long
It's been a long day.
But no, thank you for listening to another episode. For other productions and takes, please visit us on our Facebook page at 357 Productions or visit our website at 357productions.com. Or you can email us at 357productionsteam@gmail.com.
I don't do that. I never check that. Brown never checks it. We never check it.
Just shoot us an email on the website or the Facebook page. That'd be great. Just inbox us on Facebook. But no, thank you for listening to another episode. And remember, we've been on the level and part on the square.
Bam. Good job without any notes, man.